Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, welcome to The Gap, a strange time between Christmas and New Year's Day where many of us feel a sense of limbo. The anticipation of Christmas is gone, we're still out of school or on vacation, and if we haven't made specific plans for this week that keep us fully engaged and busy, we often find ourselves with little to do and a growing sense of dread, knowing that as soon as New Year's is over, we're back to school, back to work, back to the same old grind. Wouldn't it be wonderful if there was something useful, something productive we could do in the gap that would amplify our success in the coming year? Well, there is. And I'm going to share with you in this Dadogram a simple exercise you can do in the gap to supercharge your productivity over the next year and beyond. I'm Jason M. Garrett, a retired Navy commander and pilot, and I created Dadograms to teach my children how to win in life. And of course, each and every one of you are invited in as well. So let's get started. In a week or so, we'll be ringing in the new year with all the parties, the ball drop, and all the hoopla. And shortly after, we'll be pronouncing to all of our friends and family our New Year's resolutions. Whether it's to lose weight, improve our financial position, get a job, marry our beloved, and on, it will be the focus of the day. And that's about as long as it'll last. Because what do we usually give up a few weeks later? Our New Year's resolutions. That's because they're made without any real thought, any plan or strategy, without any idea how they really fit into our lives, and without any consequences if we don't follow through. But if you spend some time thinking about them in the gap, in the exact way I'll describe, you may be making a few resolutions that will change your life. We're going to think about the future, but not the next year. We're going to think a little further out than that. Now don't worry, this won't hurt. We're just going to imagine a future at a specific time, and we're going to imagine it in several different facets of our lives. So just follow along and I'll walk you through it step by step. Here we go. I want you to see the life you will live at a specific time in the future. Whatever your age is right now, I want you to double it. Yes, double it. And for those of you who aren't strong in math, here's a little chart I built to help you out. If you are 18, visualize your future at age 36. If you are 20, what will life be like at age 40? And so on. We're not building any plans off this. I just want you to see where your mind takes you and think about it in these facets. So I use the life of a 20-year-old as an example through most of this. Think about your health. What kind of health are you at age 40? Do you see yourself a few hundred pounds overweight reaching for your second pack of cigarettes? Do you see yourself training for a marathon or a climb to the summit of Kilimanjaro? Or have you really never thought about your health that far into the future before? Well, just by simply visualizing it in this exercise, I guarantee you have already changed your future. You are going to be somewhere different now, even after having thought about it only this once. The change in you has already started. How about your wealth? At age 40, are you working a second job as a checkout clerk at a gas station? Or are you headed on a short vacation in the back of your own private jet? Are you living in a moldy old trailer? Or do you own free and clear your own brownstone in the city? Can you not work and still bring in all you need without lifting a finger? Or do you have to work 80 hours a week to make ends meet? Seriously, take a moment and see in your mind's eye what life will be like, even if it is just a glimpse at the possible or a realization of what you don't want. This will change you. How about family? At age 40, do you see your child walking down the aisle, getting married, and starting their journey? Yes, at age 40, you could have a child that old. Or you could have another of your own. My wife and I had our youngest at age 39. Or are you still single because you never had time to find the right one? Or if you did, have you made the fatal error of deciding not to have children at all? And yes, that choice is fatal, as the effort of all your ancestors from the beginning of time to now, who have fought and survived, lived and loved just to continue life past their own, has been for naught. Because you have decided that something else in your life is more important than continuing on their family lineage. You're responsible for ending the accumulated efforts over eons. I know, that's harsh, but something you need to know and understand. And yes, I do know that some of you can't have children and that you've tried, but at least you've tried. But it really is different for those who have decided to put work or career or money or travel experiences ahead of having children. So consider that. How about other facets to consider at 40? Your education. Are you a high school graduate or are you a PhD? How about your career? Are you a business owner or are you working your way up the corporate ladder? Are you having fun in your career or is it a grind? At age 40, are you close to your brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles? How about religion or spirituality? Are you a churchgoer? Are you a Christian? Are you an atheist? Are you searching or have you been found yet? And are your choices leaving you fulfilled? Friendships. How many deep and meaningful friendships do you have at age 40? Are you close to your spouse, to your kids? This is a quick list I made. It certainly doesn't cover every facet of your own life, but it's a good place to start. Take a moment and go through it, even add to it, and look at your future in each of these facets and see what your life is like at double your age right now. Health, wealth, finances, family, education, career, religion or spirituality, friendships, personal development, adventure, and legacy. Think about what life will be like at double your current age. Just see what you want in all facets of your life. We're not doing any planning here. We're just seeing. And that dim vision will help direct you in the near term. And remember, you're going to do this once a year in the gap, so that vision will come into focus over time. Now, if you think that this is impractical because double your age is too far into the future, you're wrong. Let me show you how, through my own example, if you will. I'm 52. What does life look like at double that? At 104 years of age, what does my life look like? Well, I know what most of you are thinking, and to be honest with you, I'm thinking it too. Realistically, I won't be here anymore. So is this exercise for naught? No, it isn't. It's really important. First, for me, there is a chance that I'll be here at 104, so let's think about that first. With all the advances in science and technology and my current state of health, I could still be here. And if I am, what kind of life do I want? Do I want to be bedbound in a sleazy old folks home, too sick to do anything for myself, but too healthy to die? If I am in an old folks home, maybe I'd rather own it and have the entire penthouse with my own private doctors and nurses all to myself. That's an option. Or do I want to be one of those centenarians who are still out there riding their bike, out in the yard gardening, telling stories to their families and friends? That's a good option. Will I have enough resources to do anything I want, or will I be a charity case? Will I be alone, or will my wife still be here with me? And will I still be close to my kids? By imagining my possible futures, I can influence the direction of my life now and set myself up for success then. At least at this moment, there is value in thinking about that. But what if I die next week, or in my 70s or 80s? Does visualizing life when I would be 104 years old make sense then? Is it useful? Or how about this? My parents are in their mid-70s. If they are 75 years old and they double that amount and look at their life at age 150, is there any use in that at all? Yes. But that far in the future, we have to think in depth or in generations. Using my example, when I will be 104, it will be our nation's tricentennial, the year 2076, and my 3 children will likely still be here, where my oldest would be 73, my middle child would be 68, and my youngest would be 65. And my grandchildren could range from 50 down to 20 or so. And my great-grandchildren could be 30 years and younger. And I could even have great-great-grandchildren in the world. Will any of my great-grandchildren, for instance, know me if I'm no longer here? Will they know my name? Will they know anything about me? Will I have done anything to set them up for success other than raising their grandparents? Well, I'm hoping. But we all know that hope isn't a strategy. Ask yourself this. How many of you know any of your great-grandfathers? How about your great-grandmothers? And if you know any of them, can you name all 8 of them? All 8 of your great-grandparents? And can you list anything that they have passed on specifically to you? Probably not. And that's kind of sad if you think about it, and something that I have decided to do something about. Stephen Covey once mentioned that the meaning of life comes down to 4 things: to live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy. Well, I'm doing my damnedest to do all 4. From a legacy perspective, perhaps this YouTube channel is part of that, as I pass on our family's values and beliefs to the next generation. YouTube may not be around in the future, but it is the surest bet I have at this time, and all of these videos could certainly be saved somewhere. And there's all this talk about AI now, artificial intelligence, how it scrolls through the sum of all published work and will soon do the same for all videoed work, and will assimilate all this information to help it learn, and hopefully to educate and inform coming generations. Maybe the AI will learn from me, and I can keep teaching in some small way far into the future. That the legacy of my knowledge and experiences pass on to others. At bare minimum, my kids are watching and learning, and my stories are shared, our family's beliefs and values are reinforced on them, and they can pass it on to coming generations as well. And how about our wealth? Can I set my family up for success with wealth in a way that keeps everything together and keeps the family together as well, as a supportive, loving team that works together to strengthen each other and continue to win for generations to come? There are ways, and I'm working on that even now. By thinking far into the future and at least considering what the possibilities are among many different facets of my life, and then thinking about it in depth, thinking about it for future generations, the future I see and desire can help highlight the path that I will walk on at this time. And that is why this is such an important mental exercise for any of us, regardless of our age. Okay, so after spending just a few minutes on this thought experiment, let's make it a little more actionable in the near term. Let's think about the next few years and how we can chart our course into our future. So remember I had you consider your age and then double it? Well, now I want you to take that number, and instead of thinking about it in years, I want you to think about it in months. And if you want to convert that into years, you certainly can. Here it is on a slide for those of you who aren't mathematicians. So if you're a 20-year-old, we double our age to 40. Now instead of 40 years, we're thinking about 40 months in the future. That's a little over 3 years from now. Think about what you'll be doing at that time. If you're in college now, you'll probably be graduated and starting a new career. So now is the time to look from this moment to that moment to determine what kind of job you want. Are you on track to complete it with your major, with the right grades to get the job? If so, keep it up. If not, you have some changes to make now to get it done. If you're in the trades and in the workforce now, in just over 3 years, are you meeting your training and education requirements to complete your apprenticeship or journeyman status? With these, you'll earn more pay, more responsibility. Are you planning on that? This applies to those of you in the military too. Are you working toward qualifications, advancements, promotion? These things require training, studying, some real effort. So by seeing what you want to achieve in the next 3 to 4 years, you can start building a step-by-step plan to accomplish it, starting as soon as you get back to work after the gap. Think about this in the same facets of life as before and see where you want to go from here. Health. Are you learning the proper ways to take care of yourself now? Are you learning how to properly work out in the gym by lifting correctly and so on? Do you get an annual physical or a dental checkup, or do you avoid them like the plague? Wealth. Are you already spending every penny you make, or are you putting away 15 to 20% right now and learning to live off the rest of your paycheck? Finances. Are you trusting your finances to experts, or are you becoming the expert? I know from experience, no one will take care of your money like you will. Family. Do you take time to stay connected with your parents and siblings, or are you just too busy for that? Are you open to a family, or are you focused on your career? Remember, two can live as cheaply as one, and there is nothing like a spouse, the right spouse, to supercharge your combined accomplishments. Education, career, religion and spirituality, friendships, personal development, adventure. Adventure may be something important to think about and do. It certainly is for me. I'm an adventure seeker, always have been. By the time I graduated college, I'd already scuba dived, skydived, bungee jumped, flown in Navy aircraft, fired all kinds of high-powered infantry weapons with the U.S. Marine Corps, and on and on and on, all in college. Remember what my wife and I did in our careers. We were both helicopter pilots, flying off the back of small ships way, way out at sea, sometimes during the roughest and stormiest nights you can imagine. I've personally flown in almost every Navy jet that we have in the inventory at this time. I've taken catapult launches, arrested landings. I've even been in a 2-seater F-16 that we flew out of Fallon, Nevada in the adversary squadrons, and a Mach 1.3 I'm the fastest helicopter pilot I've ever known. I truly do love living a life of adventure. I think that's why I loved every single moment that I was in the U.S. Navy. I wouldn't trade a day of that adventure for anything. And you know what? My wife and I are both retired now. And in truth, my wife and I need more adventure in our life. Just driving the kids back and forth to school every day isn't adventure. So we are looking into the future at those types of things that would give us a sense of adventure, like climbing Kilimanjaro in Africa, being on the very short list here in the next few years. There's a lot of things we're considering because we just simply find life is more worth living if it's somewhat exciting to do so. And legacy. Make sure my family will be taken care of if anything happens to me or my wife. You can't leave these things to chance, and they do take planning and time to set up. So hopefully I've sparked some ideas in you. Put this video on pause if you must and think about each of these and see as clearly as you can what you want to achieve in the next few years. Know that each year in the gap, when you do this, things will have progressed, things will have forced you to adapt and changed, but this can help you stay on course to achieve your dreams. It can be used to set manageable and achievable New Year's resolutions or goals that can and will change your life. At age 52, if I double that at 104, then convert that to months, that's about 8.5 years from now. As I get older, it seems that the goals I set take longer and longer to accomplish because they're often created from scratch and can be quite complicated and certainly multifaceted, with a lot of risk involved if things don't pan out. Whereas something like getting a college degree is in fact a formalized process set to a schedule, and while it seems challenging while you're doing it, it sure in hell did for me, it is something that most people can actually do just by following the course that's already been laid out. Anyway, I'm looking at all of my plans from now to age 60, and I'm not just visualizing them, I'm writing them out and building a step-by-step plan to complete them. And if you need help to do that kind of thing, that detailed planning in your own life, then please watch Dadogram 1 through 3 as they will teach you exactly how to accomplish anything you put your mind to. Folks, the time in the gap can be an unsettling time as you look forward toward an uncertain future. This simple two-phase consideration of your future can help you determine the direction of your life and can help you start setting goals and building timelines to accomplish them. Write these goals down on a to-do list. Then subdivide those goals into smaller achievable goals and set a specific time in which you will accomplish them. Then get to work changing your life. It's that age-old adage. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. What you're visualizing in each facet of your life at various times in the future are the elephants that you have decided to start eating. You're going to have to visualize these elephants. You're going to have to decide to carve them into smaller pieces and then start taking them one bite at a time. That's how you accomplish any large and difficult goal. If you do this simple process during the gap each year, you'll be surprised how much you will accomplish in the coming years. Bill Gates once said, "Most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 5. From my experience, most people never think about what they'll do over the next year in the first place. They just let life push them around until one day they look around and realize that they have done nothing meaningful at all. Make a change in your life. Look into the future and see what you will become. That is the very best way I know to improve your odds of achieving it." Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this Dadogram. If you'd be so kind, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel.